Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we'll be talking about this costing and cost accounting for mines. Okay. And before this, what we were talking like for so many classes was, like if you see our cash flow diagram, uh, we were talking like this is our t equal to 0, this is t equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, right? And we were talking like if you own a mines, maybe first couple of years your inflow is maybe 0, right? And inflow can start, let's say here, and it will be different in different years, and it goes on like that, right? So, and on top of that, we have some kind of initial capital huge investment, maybe some other kind of, operating cost and other cost that comes into, your mining business. So, and what we discussed was, like if I is the interest rate, what is the present value of everything here at t equal to 0. So if my present value is greater than 0, I will go for the business, right? But now the question is, how do we put some, this, how do we calculate or how do we estimate before starting our mining business? What should be the cost? What is the initial cost, the operating cost, and all those kind of fixed and variable cost that will come to your mining project. So we'll be talking about this, right? So what does this, this costing mean is, yeah, so what does this costing mean is, like assigning cost to an element. Okay. So how do we assign the cost to different kind of elements, right? Like, so we have, we will talk about different elements of these costs. So we will look into that. We have a small example here. A small feet of 100-ton trucks. Okay, 100-ton truck was observed throughout the following cycle: load, flat haul of 3000 feet, spotting and dumping, return, waiting, spot and load. So these are these are the different cycles, right? Like or in a particular cycle, these are the operations that are done. So the average production for the truck fleet was 12,100 ton per shift. Operating costs for 100-ton trucks fleet were as follows, right? So what is the task and cost per shift is given, right? So to operate this truck, we need operating labor, we need fuel, we need repair, we need tires. Okay, so and our task is what is the cost per ton of material moved. So this is like operating cost. We are not, uh, looking here what is the initial kind of investment cost. So how do you do that? Is like the our operating cost is 4,000 per shift, right? So you just add that up, right? Like the what is the total cost equal to 4,000 plus fuel is 20,000 plus This is repair is 3,000 plus tires for shift. Let's say you are spending some 7,000. So this is 10, 30, 34,000, right? So what is the cost per ton? So cost per ton equal to total cost, right? Summation of cost divided by total ton. So what is this value? Can anybody tell me? 34,000 divided by how much?
The 12,100.
Okay, 12,100. This is too less, but like let's see. Okay, not bad actually.
2.8.
What is this value? Can anybody calculate this?
2.81.
2.81 rupees per ton.
Sir, are you considering only one shift or maybe multiple shifts?
Your voice is not clear, Sobit.
I was saying, are you considering only one shift or more?
Yeah, for one shift. For one shift, the total production is 12,000, right? So maybe the numbers are not good here, but you calculate something like this, right? What is the total cost, and what is the total tonnage for that shift, right? And you just divide it, and
2.8.
for sorry.
2.81, sir. It's
Okay,
not 2.8.
2.81. 81. Yeah, so this is how we assign cost to a particular element, right? Like if you just want to move some material, right? Like, and what is this cost accounting is, we need to record the financial transactions. So this is a record of the financial transactions. Okay, and in a costing accounting system is a must in mining venture. Okay, because otherwise, how do you know how much you're spending, right? Like, and the purpose of the cost account should be well defined for developing an effective cost accounting system in a mining organization. Okay, and what are the purpose? First, to indicate the management and inefficiency and extent. So this is in addition to taking the decision whether you are going for the mine or not. So if you are running the mine, also we need to do these steps. So what are those purpose? First is to indicate the mine management any inefficiency. So if there is any inefficiency, that you can find out. So to know that this cost accounting is required, and this form this can be of waste of time, material expense, or in use of labor, machine, tools and equipment. So if those are there, then you can find out and fix that. The second point is to observe a guide for price fixing, that we just discussed, right, like before. So, and how do you do that? Is, like you just go for initial cost components, right? What is the maintenance operation cost, direct labor cost, direct material cost, equipment and capital recovery, and then you have indirect cost, and then if you add this thing, and then you add your desired profit. So if this is X and this is Y, then required price will be X plus Y, right? And per ton, if you want to like calculate it, you can divide it with N. Okay, so the direct costs are expenses, like it talks about the direct cost here. Are expenses that directly go into producing goods or providing services, while indirect costs are general business expenses that keep you operating. Okay, so for example, let's say you're spending some money on this explosive, let's say. So, and these are your direct costs, or maybe you're putting diesel in your truck or whatever it is. Or then you have some indirect costs like to run your business, right? Like your office and etc. Those are your indirect cost. Next purpose is to present comparative cost. That is between like the different periods and for varying volumes of output. So if you want to like let's say you want to produce some 100 million ton ore per year, or maybe let's say you want to compare with uh, let's say 150 million ton of ore, and in here what is the per ton cost and what is this per ton cost. So just to compare those kind of things, right? Or maybe at different periods. Today in the month of March, let's say this the cost per ton was this much, right? March is this much A, let's say it is A, and let's say in December it was B. So to compare those things, you need this cost accounting. Next is to facilitate the preparation of budget, and when desired, the setting of standard cost with which actual cost may compare, right? So every year you need to prepare your budget, what to spend, what to do, right? So to do those things, you need this costing thing. To explain in details the source of profit or loss. Okay, so if you just want to know where is the source of your profit, or maybe where is the source of your loss, that you can calculate. Last is to reveal the cost arising from various methods, equipments, design of output, and to indicate sources of economy in production. So yeah, to know, like if you change your methods, right, or equipments, before you were using this type of drill rig, now you are using some different type of drill rig, right? So what is the changes? So those kind of things you can find out, and this is very much necessary for any mining business or any kind of business, right? So if you see our cost structure, there are two main types of cost for mining projects. One is operating cost and second one is capital cost. Okay, this is self-understood, I think. So initial cost that you need is your capital cost, and to run the whole system, this is your operating cost. So this figure here shows actually what are the two type of costs and their components. So as we can see, we have capital cost and we have operating cost. A capital cost is first is startup capital cost, and then we have stay in business cost. Okay, what does the stay in business cost? Maybe mine site development, new mine project, or maybe exploration to do, right? So those costs are our stay in business cost, or maybe some extra equipment that you need to buy. And in startup capital cost, the initial equipment you need to buy, the initial infrastructure you need to make, right? And mine site development, like in our underground, for example, metal mine course, we talked about development of shaft. If this is your ground surface, maybe this is your deposit, right? and you want to make some shaft or some kind of decline, right? So those comes under your infrastructure cost, or maybe the different facilities in the surface. So those are your infrastructure cost. Then you need to buy. Let's say you want to run this shaft, you need to put your headgear. What is the cost of those things, right? Some machine will go inside. What will the cost of that equipment, right? Like the haul truck, or maybe some drilling equipments, or whatever it is. And then mine site development cost, right? Like site development cost for underground, we develop this, edits and all, right? So those costs comes here. We talked about the stay in business cost. Now coming to the operating cost, we have again fixed cost and variable cost, right? And in fixed cost, these are the costs we definitely need, right? Like whether you produce or you don't produce. So those are your fixed costs, right? So let's say you have a mine, and today you have 150 employees that are working in the mine. So if it is, like this month it has produced some 1 million ton of ore, and next it is, let's say next month it is, let's say 0.2 million ton. So these you cannot just fire them for 1 month, right? So if there is some minor change or whatever change is there, so these are your fixed cost, labor cost. Or maybe you cannot say, okay, last year, last month 150, or maybe 1 million ton ore was produced. So you had those kind of, the equipments. Now because it's producing 0.2 million ton for the next month, or maybe next couple of months, you cannot, sell these equipments, or you need to, have these things, right? You cannot just throw them or maybe sell them, as I'm saying. So these are your fixed cost, which doesn't change with whether you are kind of producing or not producing, or how much producing. Then we have our variable cost, like our utilities, fuel. Like if you produce 1 million ton of ore, the amount of explosive that you blast will be directly depend upon how much quantity of uh, explosive you need, right? Or maybe the fuel also, right? Like if you are producing 1 million ton compared to 0.2 million ton, you will spend more on fuel, right? Like to transport the material, or maybe the parts or spares, right? Like you are drilling your equipment, so you need the drill bits. So if you produce more, you need more drill bits, and produce less, you need less drill bit. So these are variable cost, and we have some fixed cost, and then we have capital cost, right? So is this clear? Like what are these things?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I understand this is a little bit of boring, but we need to learn these things. So in capital cost, for the total typical distribution of total capital cost in open pit mines. So in open pit mines, how this capital cost varies. So you can see initial mining capital cost, which is the maximum 32%. Okay, pre-strip cost, right? This is 5%. Pit dewatering cost, I don't know, this is 1%, let's say. And tailing is 3%. Process plant direct cost. So this is the maximum one, right? So this initial mining cost is the blue one, which is your 11%. Then infrastructure cost is 19%. Owner's pre-production cost is something here, 3%, or whatever percent it is, 3%. Offsite infrastructure cost is something. So these are the different component of cost we'll be discussing. We have one good example here in this. So, but this is how it varies. So you can see a big chunk of your money goes to your process plant direct cost, right? Because what happens, like when you produce some ore, you need to do the crushing and to make it to a higher concentration thing that you can sell. So you spend a lot of money here as a capital cost. Yeah, this is just, please go through this. I think we almost discussed about this. I'm not going to repeat. Like the capital cost in mine can be split into startup or stay in business cost, right? Like startup cost. This is already, you please go through this. So yeah, so this is talking about the development cost. So for underground mines, the sinking of shafts or edits, or in surface mine development of box cut. So this goes into your what is your development cost, right? Yeah. So please go through this. Now operating cost, as we already discussed, is focused on day-to-day running of a mine, right? Like that is our operating cost. And these costs are two types, as we already discussed: fixed and variable. Variable cost vary with tonnage produced. Those costs include fuel, explosive, and electricity. So this is what that this was there in that figure. So fixed costs, on the other hand, are independent of tonnage produced, and they include labor costs that are not linked to the production. Okay. So generally what we do is operating costs are expressed in total cost per ton of ore mined. Okay. So for example, South African coal mining costs are quoted as rands per ton of coal produced.
Sir, labor costs should be like in variable, correct? Because maybe we need more labor at the time.
Yeah, that is a good question. But let's say you you own a mine, Sobhit, right? Right. This is your mine, let's say, and this is what I was explaining. You have, let's say, 200 employees. So something happens. Let's say COVID happened, right? And your production changed from, let's say, 100 million ton to let's say 45 million ton for next 6 months. Do you think, are you going to fire this employee, or you'll keep them? Because you need to pay the salary to those guys, right? And you cannot take a risk like, okay, like if this happens, like what will happen, right? Everybody will cry and they will complain and think this cannot happen, right? Or it doesn't make sense.
So in mining sector, labor comes in fixed cost, right?
Yeah, if it is, like let's say some contractor or those kind of things. That is what we were discussing. Fixed labor cost comes under this fixed cost.
So, but the production when it will decline, so it is the time we generally take the people out of that time.
Yeah, no, but like this is what I was explaining. Let's say 10 of you, of your friends, including you, joined some company here, like very good company, good package with 50 lakhs per annum package kind of thing, some multinational company. Okay, and something came up. You were doing well. 10 of you guys were doing well, right? And something happened. Let's say the oil price decreased. Okay, it's a, let's say it's a oil company or some kind of that kind of pumping, or maybe the iron ore, this iron ore demand decreased, and this is a iron ore mine, let's say Rio Tinto iron ore mine. So will you like, because this iron ore demand has decreased, and your company has to take a decision that, like if I produce, let's say 100 million ton of this iron ore for last so many months, and because it has reduced, I need to decrease it to, let's say 60 million ton, and I don't have space to keep that, right? If I produce it, I don't have space to keep that extra amount, then it will reduce its production, right? So if it reduces its production, do you think like Soviet, including, let's say I want to keep Soviet, but 9 other students, your friends, I just want to fire them. Can you do that? No, right?
No, sir.
So yeah, so that is why actually this doesn't happen, right? Even like else, like is this like saying, okay, we are, these many professors in IIT Kharagpur, and these guys are, like because the student strength decreased, hire these professors. No, or maybe summer, like the professors are not teaching, so just don't give them salary. So it's just saying something like that, right? So we don't do it. That's why this is kept under this fixed cost. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Generally, generally operating costs are expressed in cost per ton, as we discussed, right? Figure shows typical operating cost split for relevant activities in production cycle in open pit mine. And it can be seen that the hauling is typical account for significant amount of proportion of the operating cost. See, like it can be seen, hauling cost is maximum, right? This is around, what is that? 70%. Okay, so let's say you have a mine here, okay, and taking the ore out from this mine to the respective position, like it takes like huge chunk of money. Like let's say you have some 1,000 crores of 1,000 crore this mining asset, a big chunk, or maybe if the total cost for operating cost is, let's say 500 crores per month, then a lot of amount goes to this hauling thing. So that is why it is very important when you are making a plan, right, like of your mine, right? So how the the dumper will move or whatever it will move. So you can save crores of rupees for your mines if you design it properly. Okay, so this is where our mine planning becomes very important. Okay, so if you are a good mine planner, then you can save huge amount of money for your business. And the other costs are loading cost around 10%, blasting cost is around 12%, and drilling cost is 18%. Okay, so yeah, so these are the different costs, and I took some information from this book. It's called Mining Valuation Handbook. Okay, so how do we calculate, if you start a business, let's say, or maybe own or mines, how do you calculate what would be your capital cost and the operating cost before going for your actual mining case. So this is the reference here. Just a second, I'm getting important. Yeah, I'm sorry. So what I was saying is, yeah, so this is the reference from where I took it. Like, how can we get some, information? These are not, like 100% sure values, but what is the value I can put it here, right? Before going for our mines. So that is what we will look for. So what this guy he did was, like he took some 350 mining development projects and located over 60 countries. Okay, over the world, and the project includes. So he compiled the data from different type of projects. Projects include base metal. What is this base metal, Sobhit?
Like iron.
Yeah, but yeah, iron is an example of base metal. But what is this base metal? No idea. Like metals which are not precious, right? Like so, those are base metals. And else, of course, like we have precious metal, and then coal, uranium, and iron ore. You need to see why this is iron ore and base metal are different. Okay, so yeah, so it is compiled in this this mining valuation book, and I will tell the summary of the whole thing. So this indicative capital and operating cost, the amount of information available for any valuation can vary. Considerably depending upon the stage of development. So when we try to put this, what is the indicative capital and operating cost? It depends, like at what stage of the development we are in, and like what information we have. So it may change, right? Like it's not absolute value, and this depends upon our. And these values are very approximate. Okay. So this the capital cost to develop a mine depends upon range of issues, right? Like let's say you want to start a new business, right? Somewhere here, right? This is your ground surface, and this is your deposit. So what capital cost I need depends upon the type of mineral. Is it metal, bulk, or hydrocarbon, right? Like whether the mine is underground or open cut. So either you are going with a shaft and taking the mine like this, taking the deposit out. So for per ton cost, or maybe the whatever the like this capital cost will depend upon what is, you know, the type of mine, whether it is underground or open cut. The existing infrastructure, like near that mine, is there some kind of development is there, and you are opening it as a second mine because you have an existing mine here, right? So what is the power supply? What is the water supply? Is there some kind of town site? Is there some airport, roads, rail? If these things are there or not, it depends on that. The topography, right? Topography means is this in a what kind of, you know, surface features are there. The terrain availability of suitable area of mine, right? So facilities like tailing dam, waste dump, water dams, what you need for your project. So it depends upon that, and also the climate, right? Like if it is rainy type of place, or snow kind of place, or icy place, humid place, temperature. So all those things, you know, depends and comes here to find out what is your capital cost that you need, right? Yeah, so this is a comparison of capital and operating cost between November 2004 and November 2011. So how it has been changed over the years, like in the 7 years, how it has been changed. So it is assumed that, you know, the values are 1 at t equal to 0, which is your November 2004, and they see this is increasing, and sometime it is decreasing in 2008, right, because of the some economic thing. Again, it has started increasing, right, goes up and down. So if you start a mine, like it depends upon, you know, so many factors. So time is one of the factors. The estimation of capital cost is thus a complex issue that requires adequate and detailed information about a particular deposit. So before, you know, going for this cost estimation, capital cost estimation, you need adequate and detailed information about the particular project or deposit. So approximate values or rule of thumb estimates are used in placing a value of resource project. So if you just want to, you know, like see, have a look, or maybe if you don't have this kind of information, we go for rule of thumb. Okay, and we'll see how we do that. This is a capital cost summary. So from those, you know, like we talked about this 300 mining projects around the world. So he has compiled actually this whole thing. So you can see the coal production cost is around $10 per ton to, it can go up to $671 per ton. So there is a wide, you know, range. The LNG production is 194 to 5,000. Copper is there, gold is there, right? And then iron ore is the, I think, starts with, like it's similar to coal, right? So this is the $13 per ton to $720 per ton. So this gives us, you know, an idea, like how much, if this is my capacity of my mine, I can, you know, it can vary between this to this, right? So and we have lead and zinc, mineral sand, nickel metal, uranium. So you can see these are the different kind of cost you can, you know, think of before starting a mining business. So in this figure here, what is done is all the data has been compiled in one place, and this is for open cut total capital cost. So all those kind of, you know, mines, they are mixed, or the projects, different type of projects, those are mixed, and in one axis, in vertical axis, you can see this is total capital cost. Okay, this is in US dollar, million US dollar. Okay, so this is total capital cost in million USD. Okay, so And in x-axis here we have total tons of mine. This is tons per annum. Okay, so million tons per annum. Sorry, million tons per annum. So if you have this in this plot, all the data around the world is plotted, and you can see if you see the best fit line here, which is this line, it has an equation like US dollar million dollar per US million dollar. Let's say this is M equal to some constant C into tonnage, like total tons in million ton per annum to the power some another constant, let's say D. Okay, so if you want to start, open cut mine, and you know that my production is, let's say, 10 million ton per year, you can expect the capital cost for your open pit mines as 110 million US dollar. Is this clear, like what we are doing here? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think you guys are feeling bored. Let's stop it here. Okay, we have 5 minutes more. We will be talking about this. We have few more figures to discuss. So just to wind up, this figure here talks about all the like 350 projects in 60 countries. Maybe one of them is India. I'm not sure. So, and they put it in one figure, what is the capital cost for open pit mines in terms of, the million ton of ore produced. So and this is the equation, right? This US dollar million is 19.95 into T to the power 0.866. Right, and the total number of mines here is 167, and our square value, the fit is around 0.66. See, this fit is not 100% correct, but because there are so many factors as we discussed, which depends, like if you start a business, the capital cost will depend upon so many things, but still you have something to start with. Okay, so if you in this equation, if you put if T is my tonnage, or maybe a million tons per annum, this is the capacity of mines I want to construct or maybe to own. Like, what will be my initial capital cost? You can calculate it from here. Okay, so let's stop it here. And any question?
No, sir.
Yeah.